Hey everybody, welcome back. Now as a prepper, you guys know I am a big advocate of having some kind of communications. This is a definite good start. Today we're taking a look at the Retevis RB27V MURS walkie-talkies. Let's check them out. Alright everybody, welcome back. So I wanted to get into these little radios because these are kind of unusual. I've done a couple of MURS radios in the past, and I'll explain what MURS is. These are not what you'd find in your local store, say in Walmart in the blister packs. You buy two for $50 with a ridiculous claim of like 50 miles range. No. They are short-range communications. They operate on different frequencies than those FRS radios you see in your local stores. These operate in part of the old business band, or the color dot frequencies that a lot of businesses used in the past, and some still do use them. I believe Walmart uses one of those frequencies. So the MURS radio service uses channels 151 through 154, and that's part of the spectrum. And the most common use of MURS channels is basically short distance two-way communications using small portable handheld radio. Now, MURS is authorized to 5 channels that were previously part of the industrial or business radio service. And like I said, they were part of the color dot frequencies in Part 90 of the FCC rules. So now they've given us 5 different channels. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but this is severely underused right now. They've given us 5 channels to work with, and they're all in that 150 to 151 to 154 range. So you're kind of in the VHF part of the spectrum. You'll be getting a little bit more range. You'll also be getting a little more line of sight, unlike the UHF stuff or GMRS. The cool part about it is there's no license required for these. So it's kind of like being able to use a very high end of the 2-meter band without needing a license. Basically, we're going to be reviewing the radios and the antennas from Retevis. These are special antennas made specifically for the MURS band, and they operate very, very well. I've taken them out and played with them a little bit. But I want to talk about the RB27V first, the radio itself. These are a less crowded area of the band, like I said. They can reach a little bit longer distances in open areas. Very nice clear screen. Let me give you a look at the screen here.
Welcome. 1.
And that's 1. And these are all the frequencies. It's going to say the 5 channels. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 1.
And there's an A and B, so you can program in a separate if you want to go down to the separate, you know. Now you're on the B channel.
3, 4.
Okay. Then you're back up on the A. Now you can program these with CTCS codes, or what they call privacy codes. That will not ensure that nobody else hears you. What it will ensure is you won't be bothered by other people talking if there's interference or people talking on the same frequency. However, if they're keying up when you're keying up, you will still be interfered with. You just may not hear what they're saying. So there's little privacy sub-audible tones basically that allows this radio to open up only when it gets that little tone that you're not going to hear, but the radio will pick up. And the same with this. So you can do it both ways. You can transmit it, and you can also only receive when that tone is being transmitted. Gives you a little more, less crowded of an area. What I really think these will shine for is for more use like in a neighborhood watch situation. Or say you've got a bunch of preppers on your street that you live. Or maybe your next door neighbor, wants you to keep an eye on things with them or help out. That's when these are handy. And even after emergencies or disasters, having a few of these to hand out to everybody, definitely a good idea. So these do have a 1500 milliamp hour rechargeable lithium battery. It supports continuous use for about 12 to 14 hours. I left this on overnight. This one over here, actually. And I just let it sit here and receive. There really wasn't anything on, of course, because like I said, it's a very underused band. But I came out about 6:30 in the morning, and it was perfectly fine. Still receiving. And still had like 2 bars on it. So all in all, it's pretty darn good. Now, the neat part about this is you have 2 ways to charge them. They do give you a charging dock, okay, with a USB plug and an adapter if you have to plug it in. But here's the cool part. On the back of the radio, on the battery itself, is a USB-C plug. These can be changed out. It's a little bit tricky. There you go. So there's the battery right there. Okay. And you just pop it back in there. A suggestion, if you're going to, let me turn that off. If you're going to put the battery in, slide the clip on first. The clip comes separately. It just slides in there and snaps into place. getting this battery out without the clip-on to pull on was really difficult. Just my own personal observation. Now, these do have weather channels. We'll show you that in a second here.
1.
I push the monitor button on the bottom.
South winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Monday, sunny.
Okay, they do have FM. I can push down here and get FM.
Vision Sunday with Aisha. Speaking
Okay. They also have a little bit of a light. It's not the most bright light in the world. It does have an SOS too. Or blinking, I should say, not SOS. So they do have a bunch of little features that's kind of handy and neat. One of the nice parts about them is you can remove the antenna. Let me turn that off. You can remove the antenna, so we can put the new antenna on there, but please make sure it's tuned for the MURS band. 2-meter antennas for HTs will still run a little high on your SWR. You want to make sure you're tuned for the 2-meter band. So what we're going to do is do a power test on these, because they say they're 2 watts of power, okay? But before we do that, I have a few more things to tell you about the actual thing itself. You do have a backlit keypad. You have the backlit screen as well. You do have box function on these. It's not something I recommend you use often because it can catch transmissions you don't want to catch. When you put it on Vox, basically it's voice activated. Okay, so whenever I start to talk, the radio will start to transmit. You have to be a little careful, because if you trip and fall and decide to curse your foot out or something, it'll go over the air. Not that, that's a horrible thing in the end of the world, especially on this service, but also too, you will get a lot of interference if you're in a noisy environment. We had many years ago, when I first started doing ham radio, we used to do a parade, and this was when I lived in Monterey, California, and we used to do a parade, and some guy was using a box headset, and every time he'd run after somebody on the thing, or have to go somewhere and was breathing heavy, or if there was a loud band, it would transmit over the band. So you really got to be careful with Vox. It's handy when you're home alone. Like if I'm sitting here talking to somebody and they're walking around with their radio outside, maybe I'd use it. You also have to give it a few minutes to catch your voice as well. So the sensitivity on it can be very, very hard sometimes. So you may want to be like, okay, all right, where are you at? You may want to say something first to get it to key up. I'm not a big fan of Vox, but it has its places and it has its uses. So they will come with the clip. They do come with charging. They also come with a little lanyard. Again, I'm not a user of lanyards, so I have a big drawer of lanyards full of all the different items I have. So they are a very handy little radio. They do have a dual watch function, which I do have on at the time. This way, if you have, let's say, your security team, if you call it that, on channel 1, and maybe your family on channel 2, you can listen to both channels. I'll show you again what the display looks like. So there you go. I got that there and that there. That's actually 4. And you can go back and forth, but you will hear calls on that, even though this is your primary channel. So if somebody's talking down here, you're going to hear it as well. Very, very handy to have. Let me drag you through the menu real quick. That's your encode off. I don't have the encoder on there. This is your reset. Your voice, you can change it to, I guess, Chinese. Ringer, basically when somebody keys up, it'll ring like a phone. Busy channel lockout is off. Timeout timer I had set for 60 minutes. I'm not sure if you can go more than that or less. Let's go 180, just in case. And that's how you set it. You hit menu to change and confirm it. This is your save. If you want to save channels, you got your power on high. Again, if you want to change it, low, high, and it'll confirm it. So you got all your settings in there. There's your Vox, and you notice I have it turned off. This beep, if I don't want that beep, I can turn it off. And I won't get the beep anymore. I do keep it on just to... Whoop, I missed it. There we go. Okay. And your light key, if you want to change the key that the light is on. And your squelch level, I keep around 4. There's really not much on here. So that's basically it. And there's your code, if you want to transmit your PL codes to the other radio so you only hear each other. Again, in a busy, kind of crazy, chaotic situation, I may not do that because I may be busy trying to hear what everybody's saying. And somebody who doesn't know how to set it up with a different MURS radio may not be able to hear me. So that's something more for, like I would say, your next door neighbor. If you were communicating with them, maybe you'd be able not to hear everybody else talking on the same channel. You only do have 5 channels on the MURS service, so you got to remember it's not the most frequency-wide service out there. But it is a handy service, and it does have its place. So let me set this up with the power meter. They say these are around 2 watts. let me set it up with the power meter. We'll test the SWR of the standard antenna, and then we'll test the new Retevis antennas. I'll tell you a little bit about them. All right, so I kind of have to hold the radio sideways because that's where the antenna screwed in and stopped. But this is the radio here. We're going to show you the power output first. Let me transmit so you can see the power output. So I'm showing about 1.2 watts, 1.3 watts. So it's a little under the 2. However, I will tell you this from previous testing. I did get a little more power output with this antenna. I don't know why, because this is what should be judging power output. As far as your reflected power, it's like 0.03. And your SWR, about 1.03. That's why you want to keep your hands away from it. So, definitely pretty decent performance. Now, let's try it with the other antenna here. This is the Retevis, this is the Retevis MURS high quality, high gain antenna. I'm going to try it out and see if it actually affects the transmission a little bit more. It shouldn't, but for some reason it seems to have a little more power using that antenna. Alright, so we got the longer antenna on there. And I'm going to show you the SWR first there. Transmitting, as you can see. Getting about a 1.01, very, very good. Let's move up to the power. Transmitting now, getting about a 2.2. I'm assuming that's because it's a higher gain antenna. But as you can see, same frequency, 2.2 watts it's showing. So definitely better antennas. We will be testing it with the antennas. Our test today, let me turn that off just in case there's any static coming at it. Our test today will basically consist of me driving about 1.5 miles away. What I'm going to do, it's a very clear shot. It's this way. Very clear shot to where I do my little Preparedness radio show every Monday night. And it's just a low power FM station. I'm going to head down that way. It's about 1.2 miles. And I'm going to go out into an open field. And you can almost, there's a little bit of curve to it, but you can almost directly see the house from where that place is. So we're going to try that out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a radio here. We're going to put the antenna on it. And I'm going to take this SWR analyzer out. And we're going to take this one with me. And we're going to try and see what it sounds like from that far away. So I'm going to leave the camera running. I'm going to back the vehicle out. We're going to drive down there, and I'm going to edit all that out. So all you see basically is, boom, you'll see me talking on here, and then you'll see me back in here. But we're going to try it out and see how it works with these new antennas. I'm very impressed with the antennas. If you already have a MURS radio that has that type of connector, you really, really probably want to pick them up. And these are the, what are they? The HA06, I believe, is the antenna for MURS radios. This SMA male radio antenna is compatible with all the other MURS walkie-talkies. Very soft and flexible. Very easy, can be bent. It's about 15.3 inches long, very soft, and you don't have to worry about it getting broken. Now, it does come with, until they kind of fell out, little gap protectors if there is a gap in your radio. This is a little rubberized one, and in here is a little smaller red one. However, with this radio, it does seem to fit right straight in there. Let me take this off and show you really quickly. Okay, screwing it back in there. And as you can tell, it's a flush fit right on there, perfectly fine. Let's make sure everything's in working order. So we're going to be transmitting on channel 1 for the MURS test. I'm going to take this radio out, and the next thing you'll see is me talking from about 1.2 miles away. I figure it's a good testing area because it's very straight shot to my house, and you'll see how it works. All right, so there's the radio. I'm going to edit this, and the next thing you're going to see is me talking on it.
All right, so I'm down here outside, and about 1.2 miles away, testing the audio, seeing how it sounds. I am really impressed with the antennas on this. It makes a big difference on the MURS band. All right, I am going to head home now, and we'll edit it out so you don't have to sit there and watch a dead radio for 10 minutes. Talk to you in a second.
All right, we're back inside. Now, I did notice I was too close to the microphone because I was kind of over-modulating a bit, but the audio was very clear. There was no white noise, no static, no hiss in the background. That was super clear. I did come back and watch the video, and I was like, wow, that's actually really impressive. I mean, it sounded like I was like 2 feet away. It was really, really nice. So I do like that. I like the fact that it's kind of in the VHF band now. So you have those 5 channels. You have a little bit better line of sight range. A little bit more power than your average FRS radio. You know, now I believe FRS is up to 2 watts now, though. But with the antennas, it's definitely doing its job. Now the antenna is a little bit of information on these. These are the HA06 antennas. They're made specifically for the MURS band. You want to make sure you're using the right antenna. They run $15, $14.99. Okay, so the old antennas. I used to be a hoarder and save this kind of stuff forever. I probably won't save these. I'll probably just throw them out. There's no point. Those new antennas are so far superior that there's really no point in saving the old ones. But definitely impressive little rig, impressive little setup. I like the fact that they have the weather on it, and you have 11 weather channels you can choose from, whatever your channels are going to be. I'm going to show you the NOAA frequency list from the manual really quick, if you want to pause there. So if you've got all those 11 frequencies in your area, you can pick up your weather frequencies as well as your FM. Maybe it would have been nice if they had an AM radio in there, but that's asking a lot to stick into a little tiny rig. But I know that FM is a little bit more popular these days. There's even some FM talk channels now. So if you have a news station that's on FM, you got a good deal there, you know, to keep up with what's going on. Generally, I'm going to be using these for communications. I'm not really going to be messing around with listening to the radio on it, but it is a nice feature to have. And at the end of the day, if you want to listen to some radio, you got it right there. So the deals on these, okay, I'm going to put links down below because it can be a little confusing. As of this video, I did not see any 2-packs. They do have one individually for $31.99, and I'll just put it, it'll say 1 radio, 2, 3 radios, 4 radios, 10 radios. You know, it'll have the radio links down there. They do have the 1-pack, $39.99. The 3-pack is $79.99. If you want 4 of them, it's $105.99. And if you're looking to outfit everybody with one, and you want to get 10 of them, it's $259.99. So obviously, the more you buy, the better of a deal you get. I would definitely at least get 2. You know, that way you have a line of communication. You have something you can hand out to somebody. Also, too, the good part about MURS is not a lot of people are using it currently. I think the only MURS users we have in this area still, as far as business goes, is Walmart. And I believe they're on channel 4. I don't know their PL tones. But don't interfere with Walmart if you get one of these, folks, please. I mean, I know it's easy to do. But I believe they're on channel 4, so you'll be able to listen in if you want. But as a general rule, you got 5 channels. There's not a lot of stuff going on these bands right now. Maybe in the future, if we actually use these, they'll allocate more frequencies to them. But I think it's really good. I do like the manual. The manual is really complete. I mean, there's just stuff in here for everything, for every little screen in your menus. There's stuff in here, lots of troubleshooting stuff. It explains what each menu does. I mean, this is like written like a decent Kenwood type, you know, ham radio manual. So even a good troubleshooting section. And lots and lots of info on the radio itself. So definitely neat little rigs. Like them. They are a pretty good economical deal. And they're very well made too. I got to say, you know, in picking up the radio, it feels like a professional radio. It doesn't feel like a cheap little tinny piece of junk. It feels like a decent radio. You don't have a ton of buttons to mess with. You can lock the screen out if you push and hold. You see where it says AB and the little lock on there? You can lock these out. So if you're giving these to somebody who's not a radio person, okay, and you don't want them to start messing around with the buttons, you know, maybe you have them sitting out front of your house or 100 yards away down the road looking for trouble coming your way, you can lock it so that the person doesn't get off frequency. But there's really not a lot you can mess with on here. So that's the deal. The links will be down below. If you're interested in the antenna alone, if you already have a MURS radio, I definitely would suggest the antenna. Big improvement. I just was messing around with the stock antennas when I first got these, and down to the end of my street, you started getting a little white noise. With these antennas, you're kicking butt, man. That's a nice, long, decent, high-gain antenna. So definitely like the whole system. I do like the fact that I don't have to worry about bending my antenna. These are very, very flexible. They'll bend any way you want. I wouldn't normally pick up a radio by its antenna, but I don't really worry about that with that. They are SMA male, so if you have an SMA female connection on your radio, they'll work for it. I may even pick up some more of those for my other FRS radios. I mean, my other MURS radios. Anyway, folks, that's the video for today. Don't forget to check them out. I will leave all the links for the different packs down below if you're interested, okay, and the antenna as well. The antenna is a great deal. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do, and it's the SWR is right on the money, and you get much, much more gain from a little tiny antenna. It's 2.15 dBi more gain than the stock antenna, so you can't beat that. Anyway, folks, links will be down below. Amazon store underneath that. These are in my Amazon store if you're interested in picking them up, but the links will be directly to them. We do have our freeze-dried wholesaler link. Now, don't forget, folks, yesterday I put up a video we're doing our dessert giveaway for this month. We will be drawing at the end of the month for 3 winners for dessert giveaway. So if you're interested in that, go back one video and check it out. And if you're not, you just want to check out the food is really awesome. Check out the comments on the video. You'll see people love the food. You can use my link and save 15%. Right now, that's really important. With prices going through the roof on meats and dairy and all sorts of other stuff, right down there, you can get a deal and have it ready. And if you need it 25 years from now, it's still good. It's brand new. So definitely check out Freeze Dried Wholesalers. My link will save you 15%. Underneath that's our My Patriot Supply link. Folks, if you have not gotten any food yet, if you are thinking about, well, should I do this, should I not? A great way to get started is with My Patriot Supply. We have a 3-month kit on sale there for $250 off. Now, it was affordable to begin with, but now you're saving $250, so it's a definite good deal. And underneath that is our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store. They make excellent, good, clean, freeze-dried food. Definitely check them out. You don't need to be a member of anything to make an order. You can try it out. If you want to become a consultant or a delivery customer, you can do that as well and save some money. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay in touch and stay prepared.